want to bring you back to the internet boom of the 2000s. The NASDAQ went up thousands of percent, and huge companies were formed during that period of time. I'm talking your Googles, Amazons, and Facebook, who were all on the scene and made huge amounts of money. However, it wasn't just hedge fund people that made money. It was regular people. I'm talking software developers, app developers, database administrators. These were people that were early to the scene on this technology and were able to make millions of dollars. I believe this opportunity is coming again, and we're going to see another kind of tech boom in a different area. And I believe that if you're ready and you're in position, you can make a lot of money, and it's something that I'm keeping a careful eye on. So before I go into detail, I want to go back in time to what happened in the 2000s and the dot-com bubble. So 25 years ago, the internet age was really coming to life. We saw computers coming around and the internet was on the scene, and things were starting to expand on this space. However, it still seemed like a pretty niche thing that a few nerds were doing that were just on their computers, and there was a lot of doubt on whether this would be legit. And people were saying that it still wasn't going to be legit and it wasn't going to happen. A lot of people were putting money into this, but we didn't actually get to see profits. And this is where you get some form of a bubble where headlines are causing these companies to go up in value, but it's not real money. And that's where the dot-com bubble happened, where these overvalued companies were formed and the bubble popped and huge amounts of money were lost. And suddenly that computer phase that everyone was talking about was just a fad, and it looked like all these naysayers were correct, that this was just a phase, it's going to pass on and life's going to go on. However, what came after the dot-com bubble was one of the biggest wealth transfer periods we've ever seen. We saw the NASDAQ rally thousands and thousands of percent. We saw huge winners across the board. We saw more jobs, more money, and more opportunities come on the scene. And the people that won were the people that were silently studying, the people that were working to understand what this new technology was. And they were early and they were prepared for what opportunities were available. They got more jobs, they got more money, and they built businesses. To give you an idea, if you invested just $500 into some of these assets back in 2005, look at the opportunity that was available. You can see Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, to name a few. I believe the same opportunity is coming today, and I'm talking about AI. Now, AI is something that people are very skeptical on. Often when they hear me talking about AI, they're going to run off, they're going to turn off this video because it's something that's pretty frowned upon right now. There's huge amounts of fear in AI right now, whether it's going to take our jobs and take over the world. However, I believe that at the end of the day, we need to adapt to what's coming now and be prepared for the future. Now, what we're seeing for the first time is something unbelievable. For the first time, the S&P 500 is inversely correlated to the job openings in the market. And that's because of AI. And suddenly these companies are being rewarded for reducing their job openings and opening up more AI. Now, right now, to be honest with you, I do believe we are in a massive bubble. I mean, if I look at this flow chart here, essentially, we've just got a bunch of companies that are moving money around. We're talking about computer chips, working with AI, and working with database administrators. This is a bubble that I believe is going to pop. At the end of the day, these companies, I believe, are overvalued, and a lot of money was pumped into AI, and suddenly it's a lot cheaper to be able to do this. So where are we right now? What's the situation we're in right now? Well, I want to bring up the Rogers Innovation Adoption Curve. Essentially, what this tells you is what stage people have adapted to the new technology that's available in the market, where the left-hand side is really early in and the right-hand side is very laggard in nature. So right now, I'd say we're at the end of the visionary stage, and we're at the point now where it's starting to become mainstream. And what you want is a situation where you're getting in early rather than late, because the opportunity is that you can get a lot of money and a lot of jobs from this. However, if you're late, it's very often that things get oversaturated. That is where there's already a lot of competition in these markets. Everybody has the skills available and they're in early. I mean, look at where we're at now. App developers. You look at stuff like that. There's so many apps on the market right now that it's currently not the thing to do right now. Website developers. That was really cool initially. However, we were so saturated with that. And what happens? It becomes a race of pricing to the bottom. And that's where a lot of margins are cut and the profit isn't there anymore. So what I'm saying is be in early rather than being in late. But Daniel, won't AI take all of our jobs? And I'll be honest here, and this is the sad situation. AI is going to take jobs. There's no other way of looking at it. However, this is the fact where people can't ignore this even more, because this is a situation which is really bad. And if you're not aware of what's happening, you're going to be one of those people that lose their jobs and is on the wrong side of history here. Because at the end of the day, you can still take this opportunity. So here's how you can win in this new AI period. Here are the two ways I believe that you can win. Number one, you can know how to use AI in your job. Now, at the end of the day, it is something that's going to be there, but it does so much for you. And from experience of me doing work, it helps you out so much. Your productivity goes up so much more, and you're essentially able to do the work of 5 people alone. If you're able to increase your productivity, you're able to work a lot harder and do things at a cheaper rate. Now, to give you an example, I'm a Power BI developer. I build data models and I build dashboards for clients. And what happens is a lot of the time I'm fixing code in order for calculations to work for data. And this can be pretty frustrating sometimes to be able to fix this data. However, what's happening is with AI coming along, I'm able to use it to be able to fix the code. And I use AI to help me get started. And then I use my own knowledge to be able to fix it, because sometimes it isn't always right. And to be honest, you can have some bad days of AI too, where it just isn't working well and you want to lose it. But the reality is that it makes things quicker. Now, I'll give you an example. I had a client of mine who needed help fixing this code. He'd been trying for 2 hours to be able to fix it and he couldn't get it. I didn't tell him this, but honestly, I went in, I put the code in to ChatGPT. I gave all the context it needed on what I needed, and it took me about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to be able to fix it and get it all working. Then I spent another 30 minutes validating that it all worked. Now, the AI put an initial solution in, and then I made some adjustments to the AI. So you still need to know your stuff. You can't rely on the AI fully. But what it does is this. It means you can learn faster, it means you can produce faster, and it means you can build faster. Some of the stuff that I'm using right now is ChatGPT Plus, and I believe having some kind of subscription and investing money into AI is critical. Just $30 per month is nothing crazy, and it makes my work a lot better, and it makes me more liked by my clients as I'm doing better work. It also means less effort on my end, and I'm now working smarter and not harder. The other thing I'm doing is I'm also looking at what new AI systems are coming into my space and what is available. For example, I'm looking at things like AI bots that are appearing on the scene. They are connected to these data systems, and you're able to ask these AI bots about certain questions about your data, and it's able to output it, such as how's sales being affected by our customers or this group of customers, and it's able to give you an output. It's also able to show variances in the data where if a certain scenario happens, it notifies you, or if it sees something odd in the data, it's able to notify you. These are still systems that need to be set up and they need to be understood in my industry. At the end of the day, you need to have the data systems all set up in order for these AI bots to work with it. So if you understand these systems and you're early to the calling, you're able to take advantage of this, because these things are still being built and they're not out yet. So I'm keeping a careful eye on what's going on. However, that's not the only way you can win. The other way you can win is by owning the assets. These are things like ETFs, like stocks, like indexes that you can buy, like the triple Q. like Nasdaq. These are the assets that you need to be buying. And the reality is, big companies will be spending millions, if not billions, on this stuff. They're going to cut costs, they're going to create new systems, and they're going to be more productive. And when they're more productive, that increases their profits. And when they increase their profits, their stock price goes up. And these are things you need to take advantage of. How can you take advantage of it? You can buy indexes in these companies and be able to have a share of multiple companies. The triple Q is something I really like, as well as the Nasdaq. You can be able to buy equity in smaller companies, AI companies that you like, and be able to take advantage of it that way. Heck, if you want, you can even create your own assets and be able to build your own companies if you have the capability. Now, you don't even have to be involved in tech space. If you're earning some kind of income in a different space, like for example, you're, I don't know, working in a trade, that's something that's not going away anytime soon. And you're investing this money from income into these assets, you're going to win that way as well. Now, I'll be honest, this is my opinion right now. I don't believe it's something we should be doing just yet. I'm not interested currently in owning these AI stocks because I do believe currently there's an overvaluation in them right now. I see a bubble in a tech space, and it's something that I'm not interested in getting right now. Whether this crashes this year or 5 years down the line, I just want to hold right now while things are very volatile right now. Currently, my assets that I like personally is gold, silver, and Bitcoin. However, when the market does turn, when the market does change, I will be repositioning and I will be looking into getting these assets. So, to give you an idea on what I'm doing, I'm learning and I'm trying to be able to learn the new systems that are coming onto the market on the scene in AI. This includes stuff like, as I said, augmented analytics. These are systems where essentially you can type in no code, you don't even need to put in code, and ask, what's my data doing? What is the information on this stuff? And it produces outputs. New systems are coming in when you don't even have to code anymore. There are low code or no code systems where you just type in plain English, this is what I want to extract from the database, and it will return that for you. These systems are all coming into place, and you need to know how to put these systems into place because clients want to see that. The other thing I'm looking at is learning machines, and these are systems which produce predictive forecasting models. So these machine learning systems essentially are able to predict data and able to see what's happening with the data moving forward. AI is coming onto that scene more, and if I can build these forecast models for clients, they'll love to be able to see what's their money doing going forward, what's their expenses doing going forward, what are the key influences in their data, and what is it doing right now. These are all things that I'm in the middle of learning right now because I want to be early and take these opportunities. Now, this is food for thought for everyone, just to give you an idea. But like it or not, this opportunity is here. And it is a winning situation if you get in early and time it correctly. I know that a lot of people are going to turn their back on this. They're going to say, I don't want to touch AI. I don't want to know about it. They're going to be a hero and say, I don't use AI. But at the end of the day, you've got to adapt to the changing market and to changing environments. At the end of the day, that's how things work. And I'm not going to be losing out. Now, there's part of me that, doesn't like AI. I'm a nostalgic guy. I like the good old days and I like the simpler times. But I'm not going to lose out to changing environments, and I'm not going to resist change. I'm going to work with the change and be ahead. So I ask you, which side of history do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side that resisted this change and fell behind while one of the biggest wealth transfers in history potentially happened? Or were you there? Were you one of the pioneers? Were you one of the people that were building companies, that were acting, that were early and actually built these new systems? Or did you invest into it early and make millions of dollars? Hope you enjoyed this video from Simply Sound Money. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask it below. That's my assessment of the situation of what's happening with AI right now. I hope you take advantage of it, and I hope to see you in future videos. Please, again, feel free to comment, ask any questions, subscribe if you like this, and I hope you enjoy this video.